4C, Fenton. The night was warm and dark. It had been gradually warming up since a storm some months back when Miss Scallons had passed. It was strangely unusual for this time of the year, when it should be turning colder. The moon never shined any more, just a dull gray ball in the sky. The days, too, were hotter. The sun shone with a renewed heat of summer, and the plants were as lively as ever. Sometimes, after visiting Paisley, I would find myself in the gardens with Alira, revisiting all the latest news. She was amazed at how the garden seemed to have an everlasting beauty there, though it was everywhere these days. I couldn't help but wonder if the gods were angered by something. I would speak with Alira about these concerns mostly after the day's happenings. The money coming in at Siren Cove was dwindling. Travelers' needs on a warm night are just not what they are during the cold of autumn or winter. Ma had contacted Mr. Ogg about possibly housing Paisley. Their grandfather was even less enthusiastic about his familiar duties, now that a child of power lived in his home. Alira had conveyed the story that Paisley overheard from the staff one day whilst out in the gardens. It was hard to imagine being thrown out by your own grandfather, but Ma was definitely considering it. The pay would be good for the inn, and Paisley could be raised away from all that hatred, as Ma claimed. Ma was used to travelers of all kinds at the cove, be they Mortalis or Magus. All were welcome. It was different with Paisley, at least for me. It wasn't that I was afraid of her. It just changed things for us. She was now on a different level, and I knew there was some jealousy there. We used to talk about having powers all the time, she with her water powers and me with fire power. Now she possessed what I had always dreamed of. It just didn't seem fair. I climbed out of my bed and headed downstairs for a drink. The sound of the cove below was eerily hushed. Mother sat at the end of the bar reading over the day's tallies. I poured myself some milk and joined her. I started. Any word on Paisley? I asked, excited to have my friend come to stay with us. She peered up from her scrolls and started digging around for one. Here you are, love, she answered, handing me an ornate scroll of thin parchment. This came not long ago by Mr. Ogg's courier. The scroll was almost translucent, and the script was just as thin with deep blue ink. It read, "Good day, Miss Norfolk. Thank you for considering my offer to house Paisley as she develops and controls her powers. Now that Paisley has the use of her fire, it is imperative that she be removed from the home. I will have her and her tutors ready for the trip in 2 days' time. It is important that she continues her studies with Mr. Thorne to keep her powers in check. The payment, as promised, of 200 silver is included. I will send payment weekly to cover food, clothing, and board. Alira and Cadence will come by weekly as well with the staff. Paisley will be coming about midday, the day after next. I hope this is sufficient for you. Please let me know if anything else is needed. Signed, Eldridge Ogg." I set the scroll down and noticed a rather nice-sized bag of silver on the other side of Ma. I couldn't help but smile at the news. It had been several weeks since the accident at the schoolhouse, and I really missed spending time with my best friend. "Which room will Paisley be in?" I asked, eager to help set up for her arrival. "She will be in the room down the hall from you, dear. It is vacant and the closest one to us," she responded, picking up the scrolls and silver to put in the lockbox. "Great. I'll go get the room ready for her," I said, chugging the rest of the milk and slamming it on the table. This was going to be an awesome adventure.